Been a bit of a gap since the last video, and here's another travel one. I went up to the Computing on the Move, which is running at the moment at the Centre for Computing History in Cambridge until the 14th of July, so you've still got time to come along and see the museum exhibits. And the visit I did corresponded with a special festival they were having as well on the 18th and 19th of May, Saturday and the Sunday, which is portable computing brought along by a lot of the usual members of the collecting community to let people experience a lot of the machines that the museum just doesn't have the space to have out permanently. So it was a good day out, and hopefully you'll enjoy the little tour around and a discussion of some of the weird and wonderful machines that occupy quite a unique space in history before our mobile phone could do just about everything. Let's start the brief tour with this display from Andy Toon. You may know of MicroBeast fame, and he brought along this great Royal Digital first single chip calculator, which is the blue one here, and the black one's a later model of it. We're looking at a bit more detail with this wonderful blueprint from the back with some hand tracing paper corrections for the layout of the chip. This is actually resistor transistor logic rather than more modern techniques, but fascinating display. His father-in-law worked at the factory and beat Intel by about a month, apparently, to the single chip that was used in the calculator they're famous for, that led to pretty much what we have today. So a great first start. It's got this button here back and forth because it's got 4 vacuum fluorescent displays, but you need the back and forth to see all of the 8 digits. So if you press it, you'll see the other half of the 8 digits. Needs to be cleared a few times as well, but it was a great thing to play with and see in working condition. Really lovely for him to bring it along. And he had some sample wafers as well that had been from the factory. So amazing. We're going to have to redevelop this board that's up in the classroom there. So we got 1972. We're going to have a little bit. We're going to swap this out and scrub and put Pico Electronics in there. So his display, he was kind enough, I took along an Atari portfolio, my Sinclair Scientific calculator. That filled in a nice little gap in his timeline as well, from the Commodore calculators up to the TRS-80 pocket computer, which is a rebadged Sharp, which we'll see elsewhere. And this is a Japanese Epson HX20 with 2 CPUs. Is white, you can tell it's a Japanese one, and of course his MicroBeast on the corner, and his current project to create a sort of portable MicroBeast in the shape. So we look forward to that coming from him. The room itself was it was all held in the classroom, which is great, and this is a bit of a more general view. You can see one interesting point, though, is because I had a portfolio, it was going to be one of the only ones there. A gentleman did have one in his pocket, which was working as well. He brought along in case there wasn't one. That was fascinating. So we stuck them next to each other, and then we thought we ought to hold the Atari portfolio users group and try and get the most in the room we could. So we nipped round to the museum, and we know we've got one in a display case, and it might be the single largest number of portfolios. We didn't do any cash machine hacking though, so we weren't in any danger from the Terminator, I don't think. On the table next to Andy Toon was Andy Collins on the Saturday. I was lucky enough to be there both Saturday and Sunday, so Andy was here on the Saturday, and he had with him a Wren, which I haven't seen in real life before, and that was great to experience. I've watched Jerry restoring quite a few of them on his channel, so well impressed with that. And he also had this Deckmate along with its unusual drive, and of course a couple of examples of Apple devices as well. So looking at the Wren, he was kind enough to show us how it all packs away. So it's basically you get the front ready, the actual unit itself slides forward so that it can come forward and the cover goes on it, and then it obviously has got a handle built into the top so you can lug it. I mean, it was pretty heavy, but it was a luggable. I work in Newton along with him, which I've never had a chance to play with before, so I did practice. As long as you don't do joined up writing, it can recognise your handwriting. Perhaps a little bit too very difficult to see the screen as well, but great to play with. Of course, Mike Daly's Lemons playing on an iBook, and a good selection of devices there for you to have a little play around with. There's another Apple as well here. So a great thanks very much for bringing them along, and it was a great opportunity to see something I've not seen before in the Wren or indeed the Deckmate and the Newton to play with it. Opposite Andy Toon, we had Dave from Devilish Designs with an IBM portable, which was their sort of answer to the Compact, and a wonderful group of plasma display machines with a grid and some Toshibas. One of these, of course, would have been the machine used for the nuclear button in the US. The Toshiba was fascinating, so he did experiment with using Laplink to get some more software onto the Compact Portable, which is something I've not seen run for a long time with its self-install option. Just fascinating watching it. Unfortunately, the Compact was struggling a little bit to cope for some reason. Looks like it may have a fault. I've developed one. So Dave had to rotate his displays around a little bit, but great fun watching it. It tried to do its remote install. You live on stream now?
Oh, excellent. Live. One frame.
Opposite Andy Collins was Stephen Usher with a very elegant display of an apricot, which was really quite pretty with an incredibly green screen. We take a little bit more detailed look at that as well. And this pretty unusual apricot as well. They're both portable, but this one's particularly elegant. It was a design award apparently. And of course the Macintosh Plus is a laptop portable. So the starting with the actual apricot, it's I got a little bit of video of the keyboard as well with this display with soft keys on, but it was an incredibly good quality display on it. Lovely to look at. And the apricot was quite a designer elegant. We can see the classic gem tiger there with its keyboard and trackball type mouse. With its this is the case it can be packed away in, so basically it all fits in there. And this has got a little metal clip to stop the mouse ball running. So if you tip the mouse forward, it is a mouse, and if you just use it on the top, it's a trackball. Not as smooth as modern as the ones we can. Unfortunately, his Macintosh was playing up a little bit, so he was kind enough to show me the refurbished batteries fitted from the inside of the machine. But again, elegant looking computer. So let's take a little look at a bit of video of the keyboard running on this apricot on the end here, with it showing us how it sets up the soft keys to be programmable as the software changes.
And there we are, we've got all the ones that are active have got the LED behind them, and well, just like the Apple MacBook Pro with the touch bar.
In the centre of the classroom there were two tables back to back with Adrian from Binary Dinosaur's display of a variety of machines. Starting off on this side of the table, we've got his Compact Portable, which actually still we've got one of those in the office where I work, and Simon, we'll see a lot more of those later. And just peeking around the corner, the Tandy TRS-80 Model 100. He's kept all the original pattern because this was actually genuinely used with its floppy drive during travel, and a selection of other machines like the PC. There's an NEC PC. So and then on the end, this cracking Compact plus a HP Janada, which we used to use, and the little Epson with again with its little printer. I didn't get a full front-on shot of the Piper running, but that was quite interesting to see. And he also had another Toshiba laptop, similar sort of model to the ones, but without the plasma display in this case. And then round the other side from that, you had a cracking working Osborne Executive. There is actually an Osborne one in the main museum. Hopefully I'll stick a photo in here of it, just so you can compare the two. This was lovely to see though, running as well. You could actually use it and type on it. It came with this start pack as well. And then further round, he's got this selection of machines. I don't have any more close-ups of the Apple IIc, but it's certainly a portable. And of course, you've got the Olivetti M10. And on the end, on top of the TRS-80, you've got a Starlet little laptop, and a Compact on the very end. The TRS-80 Model 4P, I was just completely unaware of this, but it's a lovely little machine, compatible because it doesn't have anything in ROM. It can load both 4 and 3 software because it boots from disk. And this Micro B CPM it's running has got no end of disk formats, can be used to read almost everything. So all in all, a great display from Adrian, and a real mix of luggables and true portables, all in lovely working condition. Before we see the rest of the U of tables around the outer edge of the classroom, it's worth taking, I think, the main museum's festival, which is still running, so you've still got a chance to go and see it. This is all based in the main museum gallery, which I keep meaning to do a video on the main museum. I go there so often and take loads of photographs, but it would take quite a lot to go through and edit all of this. There's quite a huge number in there, and it starts in the main gallery here with a central display as you walk through the door. So let's take a look at that in a bit of detail. So the stand opens with Computing on the Move. It all began with a Luggable, which includes this Portico Miracle. All the Computing on the Move displays have got this little a centre man play, but I've not seen one of these before, definitely new to me, with plenty of text and description of that background history from the 73 IBM Scamp all the way down through the Osborne one, which we'll see elsewhere. You've then got a selection of laptops and tablets covered in the, when they did actually become portable. And you've also got the sort of PDA display with the classic Scions and a few others, the Casio. And again, quite a bit of description and text and information about the PDA. And then finally, you've got the sort of mobile phone and wearables environment. I'd not actually seen a Google Glass in reality, so it was quite interesting to see. And quite a bit of background history for you to be able to read, to look at that side of the portable environment today. As you go deeper into the museum, you see this timeline of portable computing from the Osborne 1 in the 1970s up to the Z88 in the 90s. Underneath that sign, you've got the Osborne 1 running, which we've all seen earlier. You've got a compact portable, which is discussed, triggered IBM to create it. A nice compact later portable. We've also got a Macintosh portable, and one behind it as well, an iBook. And we've got this lovely little Toshiba libretto, which is really cute, so a very early netbook. And then you've got the Amstrad PPC. You'll notice this one's beige. This is a 512. We'll see another model soon as well. And the Grid laptop in the on the top there. And of course, we've got a selection in the case, the PC8300, which I think was on the Binding Dinosaurs. The classic Z88. I'm surprised nobody had a working one of those at in the classroom. One of the things they didn't have a portable tag on, but I think they should have, is in their gaming area, where you've got a couple of little handhelds out that you can play, like Astro Blaster and of course Astro Wars. So they should definitely be on the trail of portable computing. And there's one as well I spotted which didn't have it, which is the one laptop per child, the XO1. I watched a good video on that recently. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the comment section below. You've also got the main convergence display, which dominates the centre of the museum, and that is very relevant to the portable computing environment, with a huge selection of PDAs, Scions, netbooks, just a huge collection of all sorts of devices really, and telephones, radios, radio telephones. It's an interesting and well worth while display at the main part of it, and it's on the end of it is the start of the Apple I display as well, which of course results and shows how pretty much all of these portable devices just pretty much became pointless with the rise of the mobile phone as we have it now. Okay, so back to the room, and here we've got Alex's huge collection of Scions, really impressive, including all his cards at the top here through the various models, his own hardware, which is a reader for the flash drives. He's got a huge selection of manuals and books. On the Saturday, someone was playing with Scion 5MX, hooking it up through a serial to Ethernet connector, and successfully managed to get it to log in and be able to play Zork on a remote terminal. So that was great. Really were the first of the machines we saw that were actually connected up to the internet. We'll pick up more on that after. This is the little device, a little Elfin unit, and a bit of a close-up of some of these memory cards for the Scion. Alex has got a great collection there. And of course the display is covered in huge quantities of different machines from the Series 3 and the internals and the sort of handhelds that were used by a lot of shops and vertical markets. He also had a selection of machines that I wasn't aware of, these two little laptop type MC400 units. They were quite interesting, and he was running some emulators under Haiku on this Aspire, and he had a selection of other ones like the corded keyboard entry, and he also had this unusual Canon, which he very limited visual display on it. But there was, great loads to this. Not one I was aware of that Tandy had ever made these. Looks a bit like Apple Newtonish. And of course he had a machine running his port of the Scion emulators in MAME onto Haiku, and allowed you to play with these machines without really having to worry about the broken plastic. So I did have a quick game of Horace and the Spiders. Michael Flashware's a great production. Next to Alex, we've got John from Retrobytes channel, which is well worth a watch if you're not familiar with it. And he brought along a great selection of machines which obviously weren't present anywhere else. I was starting off on the left, a good selection of portable machines, like especially the EPC, which I had back in the day, sort of kicked off in 2007, the sort of netbook revolution. Everyone seemed to be buying them at the time, and of course the PSP is a portable. He had some Scions and an Apple Message Pad, so a good selection of machines. But his main display was around things like the Dolch Pack 62, the sort of lunchbox format, mains only, but a lot lighter than a Luggable. The keyboard folds onto the front, and here I've captured a little bit of footage of it playing Doom quite respectively. Then next to it, you've got this Tadpole Spark book. I spent quite a bit of time listening to John talking about this. It's basically a incredibly powerful machine that it can run x86 by doing just-in-time compilation. So Microsoft Word started to get faster as I started typing on it, and it's got down on the side there you can see it's got a floppy drive, and he's added a CD-ROM on, but they are actually SCSI connected as well, so it's not a common machine apparently, and a really unusual one to be able to see and enjoy. Then we move over to the Commodore SX64, the portable Commodore 64. It's just a C64 with a floppy drive and a small colour to them. But they're beautiful to look at, lovely machines. And here's a bit of footage of it playing a game. So again, cracking machine and lovely to see. Not one I'd spent a lot of time with. I've seen one before. And then finally on the end of his table he had this Atari Stacy 2. I'd never heard of them. I didn't even know they exist. This thing here is a clip for paper, so that you can do some copy typing. It's basically an Atari ST in a large case, and it was supposed to have a huge pile of 12 C-cell batteries here in the big fat bit at the back, but it proved to have only about 15 minutes runtime and 7 kilos of weight, so it's actually only a portable running on mains now. About 35,000 of them sold then, so discontinued in 1991. So all in all, a great display from John as usual, and a little bit of footage of the Stacy just so you can see it. Next to John, we've got another John, Glass TTY as you might know him, John Newcomb, and he of course cleverly thought, well, portable computing, really the other big revolution for it was how you connected that and connected back to services. So he brought along a small telephone exchange, a number of telephones and a number of different designs of modems, some of which were very very impressive. This one in a wooden box, for example, which is an acoustic coupler, was lovely to look at. So I just think it was a great little device, really. Oh, look, there was a Z88. I'm not sure whether it was working, though. And, of course, he brought along his British version of the Epson HX20, and he laid out in front of it the innards of one as well, to show the sort of complexity inside of them. Nipping back over, though, of course, he had this Epson PX8, which he did have hooked up through the acoustic coupler with its cute little disk drive. Behind it there's a PC88 as well, I think. And I've got a little bit of video of him dialing into his PDP over the connection, which we'll watch now. Cool. Going back to the other one, the Japanese HX, that use little plug-in cartridges with EPROMs in them, which he had a few of. And the other one he had was an Apple IIc with this cute modem, which was running connection to the original software to the video text terminal onto his Telstar service. And he had that running as well on the little monitor to the side, and another acoustic modem to do it. Acoustic coupler. Now, he did the same on the Amstrad PPC 640, the grey one, because of course it's got 640K. We saw the beige one in the museum. But he also wondered what the LCD might look like. So actually, once he put it back onto LCD, it was quite impressive how readable the screen was. Surprisingly, it was good lighting in the room. So there he has a comparison of the two. So it works quite well. He had a couple of little small machines like a Scion as well, dotted around it. But this was definitely one of the lovely to look at machines. Unfortunately, the battery was flat, but nice to have the accompanying Telelink magazine as well. Of course, with all of this technology laid out in front of you, you've got to have a bit of a jolly jape, haven't you? So, well, John made a phone call.
So, see, almost manual batteries is still fine. Yeah, no.
Hello? Hey, John, how you doing, mate? Where are you? Oh, hello.
It's not what you call a long distance call.
So, last but certainly not least, we come to the stand of Tony, Here Dragons, one of the organisers of the Portable Festival. So thanks to Tony for setting this up and going over his machines. He had two tables laid out with a fascinating collection of machines, which we'll cover in a bit more detail as we work through them. A huge range of machinery and portable computers. Unfortunately, some were merely static, not working as he's working through them. We'll start off though with a little look at this amazing HP collection he's got here, which is this machine with its bus connecting it up to a wide variety of devices. There's a small digital cassette drive there. You've got the interface to the IEEE, the i488 interface for bus control and things, and a small printer, and runs VisiCalc, and it's got a screen output as well. It's cracking. We'll let Tony talk a little bit about it a minute.
Hewlett-Packard's first pocket computer.
Right.
And, let me get it running here, I particularly like this. When I was a kid, I really wanted a computer that I could play with on the bus to school. They're quite long battery, write my games, come home, plug it into the TV, and sit on the TV. And this, at the time, would, I think, have been the only actual machine that would meet that. So,
Probably hideously expensive though.
well, I actually have a spreadsheet that will tell you what this costs. This is my little demo here. £1,962 in 1984.
So that's going to be, well, close on 3 and a bit grand now, 3 and a...
don't know. I mean, 1984
Yeah, it's at least double.
is at least double, isn't
Yeah,
it?
possibly 3 times.
Yeah.
So closer to 6K.
So it is, and frankly, that's what it's equivalent to. It's a top-end MacBook Pro sort of price.
Yeah. But can actually run VisiCalc on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it what's the underlay? It's custom HP.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's it's either the Saturn or the Capricorn. I can never remember which has which.
Right.
Which is a weird old 64-bit processor with a 4-bit serial bus.
Okay.
It's absolutely unique.
So what he picked up was, of course, these cables are incredibly hard to get hold of, but there is someone who's making reproductions which look pretty good. This is an original one here, and these are some reproductions, so they are possible. They're terribly difficult to get hold of. He then went on to this machine, which you might have seen in a previous video, this Sanyo. It's a personal computer 10, was featured on the front of the Your Computer magazine. I think he described as pretty much the most useless portable on the planet, because it's got no input or output connections. You can't save to tape. All you can do is store what's in memory, and once the batteries go, that's gone. There's no way of getting the program in or out of it. Pretty simple inside, just a number. Most of these are the display driver chips. Single system chip and ROM. There is an RAM rather. There is an expansion socket there, which we thought maybe you could build something useful in it, but that's about it. Yeah.
1982. I really wanted one. I saw that, and 40 years later, I've got one, and I wish I hadn't bothered.
The other side of the on that table, he also had a collection of these Sharps, beautifully in their docks. Unfortunately, several of them weren't working. He'd struck a problem by trying to fix the onboard batteries, and discovered that actually the batteries act as a bit of a dropper for the voltages, and cause some distress to the system. The dock, certainly the main dock, the computer's still dock okay. You may recognise some of them as the basis of the TRS-80 we looked at earlier. He also had this fascinating little Sharp as well, which actually runs the C programming language. So that's a different, something I hadn't come across before. And of course, the beautiful little discs that fit into this drive that comes up here from this machine. Really elegant, lovely looking machine, and quite an unusual sized disc if you've not seen, about 2.5 inches maybe. We then went on to this TAN Data PA, which is designed to be, you can move it round, so it's sort of portable, I suppose, and uses a standard TV screen to allow you to do a number of different jobs and tasks. Of course, a couple of Amstrads, the notepads, 2 different designs of them. I'm sure you've come across those before. And we've got this Matra MO5, which is showing the video text from John's environment through its modem. And here, of course, got a lovely little Epson PX4, really neat, lovely keyboard, nice little built-in printer, cracking little machine. And for those who are fans of what happened after the Dragon, this is the team went on to work with Thorn EMI to develop this Liberator, which is a portable computer, unfortunately not in a working condition, but here closed down. This was fascinating as well, a Sharp calculator with an abacus on it, so that people could confirm the calculations were correct, and as a fallback, I suppose. And I remember these Husky Hunters. I'm sure we used them in work, but it's a long time ago if we did. So it was surprising how heavy and well built they are. Pretty tough. Rumour is you can run over them with a tank, Tony said. And behind it then was another little pocket computer from Seiko with its tape deck and printer. So there are quite a lot of those designs around. So coming back then, there's one machine behind it which I couldn't quite see what it was, but Tony put the lid down nicely for me. And a Dreamwriter 200, little portable word processor device. And on the end he had a number of these personal organizer connectors which actually have got a modem connection on one of them. A messenger device. And these two, which are much more recent Sharps, but they're running a version of Linux. It's a Linux box, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And they both run the
same thing, an OpenZorus.
And what sort of year? What sort of year are they?
This one I think is 20 years old now.
So as you can see here, the screen actually rotates around completely and back, so quite interesting. Now on the table, you probably saw in the corner this link device, and we haven't talked about that. So I'm going to go on. This is the bit of the New Brain story which we'll pick up. Tony had hoped to bring a properly portable New Brain to the event, but things were against him really, I think. I'm sure many people who watch this will be aware of the Grundy New Brain and its sort of origins in the Sinclair environment, and looking to be a machine to launch into the market, eventually becoming the Grundy New Brain. This is probably one of the few actual battery power packs to be able to strap on the back of it, which Tony's loving and restored. But the big problem he's been having is actually getting any New Brains that work, because they are quite tightly packed PCB boards, because they made the case design first and then tried to pack the machine in. There was an intention to produce specialist chips, but they pretty much never arose, and these multi-lay boards with lots and lots of chips in and a transformer for the VFD pretty much mean there's very few working New Brains around, which is a real shame, because Tony had really hoped to be able to walk around with one working. He also had this unusual link one, which was one for vertical market use, apparently into pharmacies, perhaps for stock checking and things. This sort of attempt to try and get a working one, he's tried quite a few. One thing they did find at the museum though was one of these leaflets, which is lovely, from New Brain themselves early on advertising, although all the devices pictured in these things are all pretty much balsa wood models and all mock-ups to produce this, because they just didn't exist at the time. But I was cracking looking through that. So there was an attempt then, maybe we could get a working New Brain, and Adrian kindly pulled the one out of the display cabinet. And it was great expectations as it was pushed forward, and there was an attempt made to plug it into this monitor and see what happened, and see whether the display lit up. Let's have a look at what happened.
Yeah, there's no switch, so it doesn't work.
Hey!
What?
Oh.
I think that's probably why it's in that cabinet then, isn't it?
Yeah. Do it again, one more time. We should get a line of gibberish along there, flickering to there, and then it should boom. It should boom. It hasn't booted, has it? No. It's not booming. No, put the cameras away. Guys.
No.
So sadly, that's a bust.
What?
But nothing on the display.
So it is actually working on the external display.
So this one, I'm going to take home and swap the transformer for the VFD with the and then I'll the museum's one.
The New Brain Basic. Now that sadly brings us to the close of the event, but we did manage on the Saturday night to get down the local and have a couple of beers. They do Milton Brewery do a nice one called Pegasus. I had one or two, and the special that night was a cracking Caribbean goat curry. I have to say, I was very impressed with that for a meal. So, of course, the room gets restored back to being a classroom, and the final dregs of the bits are packed up from it as the volunteers work hard to put it all back, and it is no more. Of course, sadly, Dave walking away, balancing his weight with his 2 IBM portables, and we have Andy Toon packing up in the original box his lovely little Tandy portable based on the Sharps. I think I incorrectly called it TRS-80 earlier, it isn't. But if you want to see more, then Pete was wandering around with a camera, videoing and interviewing each of this is Adrian from Binary Dinosaurs, and you should be able to find a bit of video recorded on the museum channel and get a bit of the word from their own mouths about the machines they brought. Now, no trip to that museum can be completed, or any museum in fact, without exiting via the gift shop, and they do have a cracking, it's not sponsored this video, but they have a cracking selection of gifts you can take away for people, and devices and items to build, t-shirts, wonderful, and a collection of really good books across the sort of computing history and retro computing. So I'd thoroughly recommend you if you go, you buy something to support them. And in fact, while I was there, this year I did get round to buying a card which is a membership card, because I do go there quite a lot, so it makes reasonable economic sense, and it supports the museum as well. So hope to see you in the next video, and I won't be so long, I hope, this time, but hope you've enjoyed this quick tour around, and we'll catch you again soon. I'm Tim Gilbert, and this is my channel on retro computing.